What's good with it, man? Ooh wee ski. Today we have new week opening gaps. We went over fair value gaps and new day opening gaps. I kind of took like videos in itself. So let's just recap. Fair value gaps are a 3 candlestick pattern, right? And really, with all gaps, it's a lack of orders. Okay, that's it. At the end of the day, all the gaps that we're going through, what they represent are a lack of orders. Now, specifically for value gap, it's a lack of orders in the opposite direction. For example, boom, we see a bullish fair value gap. Tap, boom, go. So you see, this is applicable on every single time frame, and you can find these like literally everywhere. I just found them for you, not even trying to. Okay, so boom, we have a fair value gap. We have our new day opening gap, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's the new day opening gap. So gap between previous day close and next. Oh, we gotta move this. Next day open. All right. Now, what we're talking about today is our new week opening gap. Damn, I can't spell. I'm here to teach you how to trade, not spell. Okay, so our new week opening gap is going to be the gap between Friday close and Monday open. It may be Tuesday open, depending on if there's a holiday, but there's rarely ever federal holidays where the stock market's closed. So we're going to just continue with our new week opening gap. Sorry. So let's remove this because, oops, this right here is what we're talking about. New week opening fade. Hold on, Meta's rolling out new features on Facebook powered by Meta AI. Yeah, y'all wouldn't understand when y'all stock moving down. Yeah, y'all you slick boy. Anyways, all right. New week opening gap. Thursday, Friday. Okay, nope. We don't want that. We're looking for the new week, Friday to Monday. Perfect. I was gonna say, did I already mark this out? Nope. Okay. Here we have a really huge gap. Alright, so we want the close of the previous day. I'm about to go on the 5 minute for this. Alright. Let's delete this. Actually, I'm on QQQ. Hold on. Alright. So we want the close of the previous day and the open of the next. So the closure would be the closure of this last candle and the open of here. This is our new week opening gap. Can I get a fill? Alright, bet. So we know that price may be able to tap into here and see a reaction off of that. Let's see what happens. Alright, when we initially tap into it, pre-market, boom, we get an instant reaction. But you can see we end up moving lower once we pass the gap. Now, once we move past it again, move into it again, you can see there's another reaction. Cue the music here. Boom, right? So you can see once we fully break above this gap, now, all right, send this price all the way to the back, all the way to the highs. All right. All right, let's find our next new week opening gap. Now, I said these things have a shelf life of 5 weeks, so that's a month and a week. All right, so we want the close. We want the closure of the last candle. In this case, I'm just going to put a line because the gap is going to be like too hard somewhere. So we want the closure of that last candle, and we want the open. We want the open of this candle of the next week, which would be Sunday at 15 o'clock. Now, here's our gap. Now, as you can see, this is still yet to be filled. I was kind of expecting this to get filled sometime this week, but this is an area where we can expect price to tap into, see a reaction. If we move into it and move lower, then we could be like, okay, we'll probably move lower on top of our other confluences. But if we break above this gap, now we can be like, all right, send this shit to the moon. You feel what I'm saying? So these are just reaction points. Let's see. I want to say the January 4th gap. That's January 23rd. I'm going to go to the 15-minute. Okay. So boom. We see the closure of this week's candle here. I might have to zoom in a little bit. All right, boom. And then we want the open of the next week. Now, when you have a significant gap like this, you should want to use this tool right here, the box with your consequent encroachment. This just means, this is a fancy word for the 50% mark. You want to put your 50% dotted line in between your gaps. I have it automated to all of my gaps. They have the 50% mark. What you can do is double tap the gap, settings, yep, go to style and then middle line and then press the dotted line. All right, so get that. Now, let's see what happens when price taps into this new week opening gap. We see initially we move lower, okay, boom, tap, drop, okay, and then we see a move up. And you can see once we fully confirm, okay, we're closing past this gap, we actually end up making a new one. That's crazy. But once we close above these two new week opening gaps, you can see, all right, boom, we're moving higher. So let's see. Okay, we're just above that one. There was a January 4th. I want to go to that because that was the one I had marked out, and I was like, oh shit, man. Excuse me. I just tooted. All right. All right. 15 to fade. Sunday. Wait. All right. All right. So our new week opening fade is right here. We want the closure of the previous day. Boom. And we want the open of the next. Boom. Now, peep these levels right here. 25,399, 25,431. Boom skis. With precision. Literally with precision. We tap the new week opening gap, right? We run these highs and then boom, sweep lower. Now, me personally, I caught the longs today off of a fill through this gap and the move up. Now, you could have caught either way today. I'm not going to lie. This was a both ways type of day. But you can see, when was January 4th? A month ago, right? So you can see these confluences still line up. A month and 5 days. So literally, the 5-week time period played out. All right, so this is new week opening gaps. I'm probably gonna keep it there. I do want to show you guys another example because these are yet to get filled. Sunday, okay, Friday. Show you guys one more example. Alright, so we want the closure of the previous day. Boom. And the open of the new week. Alright, so what happens? Okay, price moves up. Cool. We tap in, move up a little bit again, and then we fill the gap. We end up filling majority of this non-tradable hour right here. I said hour. This non-tradable day and a half, because you can't trade Friday close. You cannot trade on Saturday at all, and you can't trade until Sunday afternoon. So we fulfill this blank space, this lack of orders, and when we close out higher, when we close out of this gap, we see buying pressure. Now it's confirmed. All right, let's move it. Simple. Very, very simple. Friday. Okay, Friday close. Yeah, look, you gotta see the open. Hold on. All right. The very first candles are open. So boom. This is our opening. New week opening gap. You can see when we initially tap into this gap, boom, there's an immediate reaction. But as you can see, once we close lower, now, boom, we end up moving lower again. And you can see, even going into the next week, this is still a sensitive reaction point. All right, this is our new week opening gap. We see price move up. Okay, come back into this gap with the. There's also a fair value gap in here. That's crazy. So you can see how we can just get our entries off of multiple. There's multiple ways to cut the pie, bruh. You feel what I'm saying? So what we want to do is just, again, we want to solidify and precisely pinpoint our entry points, because that's what it's about, pinpointing entries. So with that being said, I will see y'all later, man. This is the end of the gaps video, and next, now we're gonna get into equilibrium and SMTs. Okay, so stay tuned for next video.